Hi guys, my name is Mayana and today I'm going to be doing a rant review for The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So I read this book in 2019, 3 years ago, and I gave it 3 stars. Here comes Apple. So I read this book back in 2019, 3 years ago, and I gave it 3 stars. I gave it 3 stars because I don't like hating things. Okay, like rant reviews are fun, but like I don't like hating things that are like popular. Like, I mean, I usually do, like, now I do rant reviews on like whatever, but like I used to try to do rant reviews on like books that like nobody cared about, nobody knew about, which I mean I guess kind of hurts the author, but whatever, that's not the point. But I didn't do rant reviews on like books that like were popular and everything back in 2019. And I have a copy of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So if you see this book on my bookshelf, mind your business. Irish Reader bought me a copy for Christmas. I want to say 2018. I love that Christmas. Like the Christmas when I first joined BookTube, when it was just like so like small, and like this was like when everybody had just first joined, and we were all like giving each other gifts for Christmas, and it was just like so fun. Like I miss that era because like all those people like we aren't as close anymore, and like we used to be so close back then. But whatever, that's not the point of this review. So if you see The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo on my shelf after this rant review, mind your business. The copy was given to me by Irish Reader. I don't like giving away books that like were gifted to me, especially because I knew Irish Reader loved this book so much. So with that being said, when I read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I went into mind that a lot of my friends love this book. Irish Reader, can't think of anybody else. They all love this book. So when I read it, I gave it 3 stars. Now when I say, I don't know what I'm going to title this book video, probably something like I've been pretending like The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo but really I hate it, or something like that. And so by pretending, we're going to say that loosely, because I gave the book 3 stars back in 2019 and I never talked about the book again. You might be able to find it in the wrap up. I'm probably gonna be like, oh, I love this, and like it was good and it was that. Y'all, I was lying. I just didn't want to I just didn't want to hate this book because all of my friends loved it, and like I didn't know how to like review the book back then. Like I knew this book was like a queer monocle, and like I didn't want to give this book a bad review because we didn't have many female books back in 2019, which is only 3 years ago, which is saying a lot because there's like male books coming out the ass since like the beginning of time, but like female books not really. So I really didn't want to like, I really did not want to rate this book low or any lower than like 3 stars. But Jesse from Bow Ties and Books did a video on this book, and it talked about their issues with it, and I was telling them my issues with it, and they were so shocked because they didn't talk about any of that in their video. And I was like, well, if you're not talking about that, then what are you talking about? So I highly recommend checking out their video. My video is completely different. These are issues that I've been having. I have not reread the book. Like I've been thinking about this book for years now, and I finally just said, let me go and rate this book the 2 stars that it deserves. I'm not about to be sitting here pretending like I love the book when I absolutely hate it. So I want to start off by saying that I have no problem with Taylor Jenkins Reid's. I have read Taylor Jenkins Reid's romance books. I think they're great. I don't know why everyone prefers her. Well, I could see why everyone prefers The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo because it is a queer book. But like Daisy Jones exists. I have been telling people that Daisy Jones and Evelyn Hugo are the same character, but everyone's like, no. I don't care what you say. They're the same fucking character. Like, I'm sorry. They're literally the same character. No one can convince me otherwise. Why are they not the same? One is Cuban and one is just white, I believe. And they're the exact same character. I read Daisy Jones and 6. I thought it was okay. Like, I listened to the audiobook. I thought it was just fine. Like, everyone's like, listen to the audiobook. I thought it was fine. I do think that Daisy Jones and Billy do need to be together, but that's just me being toxic. And I do want to read Malibu Rising. That's only because it's a family drama, and with my literary fictions, even though it's historical, with my literary fictions, I love family drama. It gives. I love drama. I love messy, you know. So I have read her romance books. I prefer her romance books over historical fictions because I think her historical fictions are boring, and like, but that also could be because I am in my literary fiction era now. Like I was not in my literary fiction era when I was reading those books, so I do want to kind of give Daisy Jones and the 6 a chance. Evelyn Hugo, she's done for me. Like I'm not giving that book a chance. I'm sorry. Like I literally hated that book, but I'll give like her other historical books a chance because I am in my literary fiction era, and they're like historical literary fictions to me. So I am in my literary fiction era. And with that being said, I did not dislike Evelyn Hugo because she was an unlikable character. I love unlikable characters. Like I said, I'm in my literary fiction era right now. I'm reading sad girl books, and sad girl books on basically just mean like unhinged, depressed characters, and that's me. That's what I love. I read My Year of Rest and Relaxation. I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely love that book. I absolutely love the main character. She made me laugh so much in that book. Like, she's just hilarious. So like, it's not that she was like unlikable, and like, I did like that she was Cuban American. Do I think Taylor Jenkins Reid, a white woman, should have been handling that? I don't really know. I'm not Cuban. I don't really know Cuban culture, so I don't really know if it was like written well. I'm not Latinx. I don't really know if it's written well, so I can't say with that. But I can say that Taylor Jenkins Reid don't need to be writing about no black characters. I know in like a discussion video I said that like representation is like important. I don't really remember what I said in that video, but I do remember talking about how like representation is important. But as I'm starting to read, I feel like if you don't know how to write a person of color, a black character, then you shouldn't be writing it. Like, I would rather go without the representation. And watching Stranger Things made me realize that. Stranger Things season 4, the way that they treat Lucas's character is absolutely disgusting. Like, he is so annoying. Like, he's not written very well. The way they write black characters in Stranger Things, like, this is not a Stranger Things review. I'm so sorry. Stranger Things just came out. I'm dating this video, but it all ties together, I think. So like in season 4 of Stranger Things, they have like all these like black characters following around this white crazy man, and that's just not realistic. Like, do y'all not like, y'all don't know any black people, because the idea that black people, even black people who grew up in white, like mostly white, predominantly white neighborhoods. Now, I was lucky enough to go to a predominantly black school for a majority of my life and to be living in predominantly black neighborhoods, so I can't speak for everyone. But the idea that someone lives in a predominantly white neighborhood and they still would be following around this white man, and it's like they had like a multiple black people in this book, this show, so like I could see them like getting together and be like, this white man is crazy, and then dipping, because it's not, you know, whatever. That's not the point. The point is, it's like things like that made me realize that if you are not going to put your foot in with people of color characters and really do the research in your own work and to represent them in a good way, because we already don't get represented in predominantly white books, or books written by white authors, we already don't get that. So if you're not going to put your all in it, then don't even write about these characters. Like, I've been reading, you know, we've been reading about white characters our entire life. Like, if you write this book and you don't know how to write a black character, just don't write the black character. Like, I really could do without. Especially now, like, we have books written by black authors. I would quite literally read a book written by a black author or a person of color writing about their own race than some white person half-assing, not doing any research. It's not even about research. It's just how the character is represented. Like, we'll get to that later. We'll come full circle. So I want to start off with Monique. I simply hated Monique. She is biracial. She's black, but she's biracial. I'm pretty sure she points that out in the book multiple times, which I thought was weird. I'm not equipped to talk about that, so I'm gonna mind my business. It's not my problem with her character. I just think her character was just like annoying, to be honest. Like, I like I said, I read this book 3 years ago, so I'm really trying hard to remember, but I know Monique is like one of my most hated book characters, because I thought she was just like very, very annoying. And like, she treated this interview as if like this interview was gonna get her money in the bank, and she treated this interview as if it was like a book report due for school, you know. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about Monique. Like, Evelyn Hugo, I thought she was a well fleshed out character, and I thought she was a really interesting character, and I did like getting to know about her life. Like, I liked getting to know about her 7 husbands, and I loved her relationship. I think his name was Cameron. I loved her relationship with him, and like how they both were queer, and they were queer in a time where it wasn't okay to be queer, so they decided to date each other so that they could all have like separate partners. I really enjoyed that. I really did like that part of the book, but I just thought that the book was boring. I thought that it had no meat. Now, with this being said, it is in my mind, it's a literary fiction. So with literary fiction, if you do not like the main character or any of the characters, you do not absolutely love the main character, you are going to find the book extremely boring. Like, that's just being said, because literary fiction and it's no plot, just vibes. So if you don't absolutely love the main character, then like there's really no point in finishing the book. But I read this book before this is like one of my first literary fiction books I've ever read. So like I read this book before I was even in that era, which I do think also partakes in the reason why I didn't like the book, but also not really, because there's a bigger factor. So there's two big factors as to why I didn't like the book. One being Cecilia. Everyone loves Evelyn, Hugo, and Cecilia, and I'm trying to understand why. Now, back in 2019, it was understandable because there were no female-female relationship books written, really. I mean, all we had was like male-male back then. And like now, 3 years later, I'm not saying we have like a whole like bunch, but we have a plethora of books now that are female-female, especially in literary fiction. I've been reading a lot of literary fiction this month. I've read a lot of diverse books. I've read a lot of translated books. I read a lot of black books. I read a lot of Asian authors. I read a lot, and in those books, it's queer characters. So I've read a lot of like queer female-female relationships since then, and like I hated Cecilia. I thought she was mean, and not even in like the I'm in like the kind of mean girl that I would like fall in love with, you know? Like, she's not the I want to date you mean girl. She was just nasty. Like, she was just nasty. Like, the way that she treated Evelyn Hugo was disgusting. I honestly don't understand why everyone loves the relationship so much. Like, I genuinely want to understand, because it was absolutely disgusting. Like, I remember there was a scene where Evelyn wanted to dye her hair blonde, and Evelyn, a white passing Cuban woman, Cecilia says that she's too dark, but she'll look good with it anyways. That's weird. And on top of that, Cecilia was biphobic. I don't remember the lines. Like, I really wish I could reread the book to tell you. But Cecilia was so biphobic to Evelyn. And like, it is understandable because it was taking place in like the 70s. But I just don't understand why everyone ships Evelyn and Cecilia, like someone who is biphobic towards their partner, like a lesbian who is biphobic to their partner. Like, I just don't understand. Like, whatever, but it's just like, I don't know, I just thought that like Cecilia was like really nasty. Like, the things that she would say to Evelyn were just, especially about her sexuality, were just so nasty. Like, I don't understand like why everyone loves Cecilia so much. Like, everyone loving Evelyn, like Evelyn was like the most developed character in the book. Like, I think also the issue could be that Cecilia was underdeveloped. Like, maybe if they discussed why she was biphobic, and like I get that it was in the 70s, but that wasn't set in the book, you know, like, you know. And like I understand, but like I just wish that Cecilia was like more developed. Maybe I would have liked her so much, because everyone loves Cecilia. Like, one of my favorite YouTubers, Kennedy, well, she dyed her hair red, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, you remind me of Cecilia. And I'm like, don't ever compare my queen to Cecilia. Cecilia's nasty. But she loved Evelyn Hugo, so like that's a compliment towards her. Fine, whatever. Okay, but it's just, I just don't like Cecilia. I just think that she's nasty, and like I just can't. Like, I don't want my girl Evelyn Hugo. And maybe it's because like I'm not a huge fan of the book, so I can't really be like, oh, Evelyn Hugo's my girl, she's my favorite character or whatever, because she's not. But you know, I have a love for Evelyn Hugo, I do. But like, I wouldn't want her to be with somebody who's biphobic, somebody who couldn't accept her fully and 100%. And like, it just sucks. Like, I wish Cecilia was written better. I wish she was written with somebody better, at least, or something, whatever. But now we're gonna get into the gripes. So this is a spoiler. This is where the spoilers come in. I mean, the book's been out for 3 years. Everyone's been reading the book. The book has a 4.4 rating on Goodreads. So like, if you haven't gotten to this point, if you haven't read the book yet, why? But now we're gonna get into spoilers. Here's my gripe with the book. The fact that Evelyn Hugo, the fact that in the book, at the end of the book, you end up finding out that her boyfriend Cam, her fake boyfriend Cam, got into this car accident, and his partner, who is a black man, dies, and she places him behind the wheel, and that it ended up being Monique's father. Absolutely disgusting to me, I think. Like, just the way that the black characters were handled in this book, like making the, I don't know, because also like that puts a bad name on the black character, because now this black character was driving this car, and like it already was in the 70s where people are expecting black aren't accepting black people now in 2022. So what makes you like, they definitely weren't respecting black people in the 70s. So it's like now this black man was behind the car of this famous person, so he's the reason that they're dead, and like everyone's gonna hate this black man, was just written so bad. I hated that. I hated that. I'm sorry, I just thought it was super disgusting. Like, and I get it, it was like save her friend, because you know Cam was like her friend and like the father of her child, but like it was just, I'm sorry, it was just nasty, and it was poorly written, because now we have this black person in this book who like theoretically is just like seems like probably seen like as a bad person, but also just putting the like whatever, like even if he was already dead, like now people, that gives people a reason to be like, oh, now of course he was black, because like Cam was drunk driving, so somebody, they both were drunk, so somebody obviously was like drinking and driving. So now it just, I don't know, in my mind it just puts like this bad name towards like black people in the book. Well, not like in the book, but you know what I'm trying to say. It just felt racist. It was racist. I'm sorry, but like trying to save this white character, so you put the black character behind the wheel, and like honestly, I mean, I guess she couldn't have just saved her friend and took him out in general, because they would have found out it was him, because it would have been like, who's behind the wheel. But it just, I don't know, it was just nasty, and I hated it, and it just, I don't know, like it already puts a bad, it was just weird for a white person to be writing something like that about a black person, and making this her Cuban character do that to a black person. Like it was just nasty, and like I feel like he could have just been a white man, to be honest. Like why did he have to be black? That's my question. Why did he have to be black? He could have been a white man. And like that's what I'm saying, like white authors write about these people of color, and they write about like these black characters, and it's like honestly I could do without. Like yes, representation matters, but to what extent? To what extent? But yeah, that is it for my rant review. Definitely go check out Jesse's video and what they had to say about Evelyn Hugo. I'm finally glad to be speaking my truth, and if you see me uploading, if you see me changing reviews for my books on Goodreads, mind your business. If you see me uploading rant reviews for really old books, mind your business. I am in my rant review era right now. I have another rant review coming, I think like 2 videos from now. So like I miss doing rant reviews, and I want to get back into that, because I loved doing rant reviews back in the day, and I kind of stopped. But then I saw, so someone I'm following on Goodreads, they read Beauty Made a Fool of You with their Death Made a Fool of Your Beauty, whatever the book is. They did a rant review on Death Made a Fool of Your Beauty, and they and then one of their friends told them that Akweke Mezi tweeted about their rant review, and like that just made me so uncomfortable, because, and I feel like that's the reason why I stopped doing rant reviews, because like authors can find that, but also I don't want to hurt, like a lot of my friends like these books, and like I don't want to like, you know, hurt anyone's feelings, or like me think that people, I don't know. I just stopped doing rant reviews for a while, and also like I feel like I have to passionately hate something in order to do a rant review. But it's like, no, like sometimes I just want to get out like why I don't like this book, and there's like so many books out there that are like popular books like everyone loves, and like I felt like I was like the only person who didn't like, it's besides Monty, I felt like I was the only person who didn't like The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And then like Monty did a review, and it made me feel so good that like somebody else didn't like it, and then like as the years went on, other people weren't liking the book as well. So like I don't know, like I feel like it's not that big of a deal. A lot of people like think that you shouldn't rate books 2 stars, or like you shouldn't do rant reviews. Books are meant to be critiqued. I'm sorry, but like if you feel like you can't handle, as an author, can't handle criticism, one, you don't have to look at the criticism. And I know that that's hard, but it's like I feel like as like you put out this work to be critiqued. Like it has a rating system. Like if you couldn't rate a book 2 stars, if you shouldn't rate a book 2 stars, then the 2 stars option shouldn't be there. You should only be able to, or you shouldn't be able to rate books at all. Personally, I think that if you shouldn't give a book, if you can't give a book 2 stars, you shouldn't give a book 5 stars, because that's not fair. And so like I feel like the idea, like, not that rant review, like they doing rant reviews, because like this is a rant review, yeah, but it's not really a rant. Like, it's just what they're called. They're called rant reviews. And if you can't handle like someone talking badly about your favorite book and someone critiquing your favorite book, then I don't know what to say. Because I love when people talk about things that I love, and like I love them pointing out things that like I missed or like I caught but didn't care about, or things like that, and it never changes my feeling of said thing. So it's like, if you can't sit here and take a rant review, that's not my problem. That's not my fault. Like, maybe you should stop being a little baby, or like don't watch something that's titled rant review and you love the book and you know you can't handle it. Like, you know. But like personally, like I just stopped doing rant reviews for a long time because I didn't want to like hurt anyone's feelings or anything like that. But it's like, rant reviews are fun. They're funny. They're entertaining. I'm sorry. I don't care. Whatever. So yeah, I'm done talking. That's it for this video. I hope that you liked it. Like, comment, subscribe, and join my channel membership, and I'll see you guys in my next video.